Welcome to online classes. I am Dr. M. Hemambara Reddy, Junior Lecturer in Botany, AP Residential Junior College, Nagarjuna Sagar. Today I am going to explain second year Botany last unit, that is the sixth unit, plants, microbes and human welfare, that is the unit. In this unit, lesson strategies for enhancement in food production. So, in this lesson, I will explain plant breeding. So, plant breeding, it is the manipulation of plant species to create desired plant suitable for better cultivation, better yields, and disease resistance. Green Revolution, the development and flourishing of the agriculture, it was dependent on plant breeding. Classical plant breeding involves hybridization of pure lines and artificial selection to produce desirable traits. Now, molecular genetic tools are used for plant breeding. So, plant breeding, it is a branch of botany. It helps to produce desirable plants. So, desirable plants means the plants provides good yield and resistant to diseases, resistant to drought, and that plants produces qualitative food. Such a plants are called as desirable plants. That plants produced by plant breeding techniques. So, Green Revolution, the development and flourishing of the agriculture, it was dependent on plant breeding. Nowadays, the farmers cultivating hybrid varieties, that means desirable plants or transgenic plants. So that plants are produced by genetic manipulation. So by the cultivation of these desirable plants, we can produce sufficient quantity of food so that that food is sufficient for rapidly growing population. So the normal agricultural methods not able to provide food for rapidly growing population. That's why plant breeders, that means the scientists who are working to produce desirable plants are called as plant breeders. That plant breeders, with the help of different types of techniques, they are developing desirable plants. So, desirable traits for plant breeding: increased crop yield and quality, increased tolerance to environmental stresses, especially salinity, extreme temperature, and drought, increased resistance to insect pests and pathogens. So, in plant breeding, main steps are five steps are there. Number one, collection of genetic variability, evaluation and selection of parents, cross hybridization of selected parents, selection and testing of superior recombinants, and testing, release, and commercialization. So these are the 5 steps in plant breeding. So number one, collection of genetic variability. Number two, evaluation and selection of parents. Number three, cross hybridization of selected parents. 4. Selection and testing of superior recombinants. Last one, testing, release, and commercialization. So in plant breeding, main steps, first step, collection of genetic variability. In wild relatives of many crops, pre-existing genetic variability is available. Collection and preservation of wild varieties, species, and relatives of the cultivated species is a prerequisite for effective exploitation of natural genes. The entire collection of plants, seeds, having all the alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. So, allele means alternative form of the gene is called as allele. I was explained in genetic lesson. So, gene is a part of DNA, it regulates one character. So, allele means alternative form of the gene. So, the entire collection of plants, seeds having all the alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. Evaluation and selection of parents. The germplasm is evaluated for identifying plants with desirable characters. Selected plants are multiplied and used for hybridization. Pure lines are created wherever desirable and possible. Hybridization means crossing of the two parents with different genotypes is called as hybridization. Okay? So hybridization means crossing of the two parent plants with different genotypes. So, the germplasm is evaluated for identifying plants with desirable characters. Selected plants are multiplied and used for hybridization. Pure lines are created wherever desirable and possible. Cross hybridization among the selected parents. It is the process in which desired characters are genetically combined from two different parents to produce hybrid plants. Example, high protein quality of one parent is combined with disease resistant from another parent. So by the crossing of the two different genotypes, the next generation, that means the yield of hybridization is called as hybrid vigor. That hybrid vigor possesses some desirable characters. So that is called as hybrid vigor or also called as heterosis. So it is the process in which desired characters are genetically combined from two different parents to produce hybrid plant. Example, high protein quality of one parent is combined with a disease resistant from another parent. So these two desirable characters enters into the next progeny. So the same plant possesses high protein quality of one character, next disease resistant another character. Both characters are found in one plant. Cross hybridization among the selected parents. Here some limitations are there. Very time consuming and tedious process. That means it is a lengthy process and it requires scientific knowledge. Hybrids may not combine the desirable characters. Usually only hundreds to a thousand crosses show the desirable combination. So with this hybridization, whatever the desirable characters we are expected, sometimes that expected characters may not be visible in uh, future generations. That means in a progeny, the expected characters may not be visible. These are the limitations in plant breeding, especially in hybridization. Selection and testing of superior recombinants. It is crucial to the success of the breeding objective and requires a careful scientific evaluation of the progeny. It yields plants that are superior to both parents. These are self-pollinated for several generations till they reach a state of uniformity that is called as homozygosity, so that the characters will not segregate in the progeny. Homozygosity means one character influencing genes are same, that is called as homozygosity. If one character influencing a pair of genes are different, that is called as heterozygosity. That means in alleles, both the genes are same, that is called as homozygosity. If it is different, that is called as heterozygosity. Testing, release and commercialization of new cultivars. The newly selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistant, etc. This is done by growing them in the research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. So, in testing, these are the important points. The newly selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistance, etc. This is done by growing them in the research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. The evaluation is followed by testing the materials in farmers' fields for the least 3 growing seasons at several locations in the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones. The material is evaluated in comparison to the best available local crop cultivar, a check or reference cultivar. So, in testing, releasing, commercialization of new cultivars, the most important point is the evaluation is followed by testing the materials in farmers' fields for at least 3 growing seasons at several locations in the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones. The material is evaluated in comparison to the best available local crop cultivar, a check or reference cultivar. In plant breeding, in wheat and rice, some of the varieties are developed. Agriculture counts for approximately 33% of India's GDP and employs nearly 62% of the population. In India, food production has increased by the development of high-yielding varieties of wheat and rice in the mid-1960s. That means in Green Revolution period. During 1960 to 2000, wheat production increased from 11 million tons to 75 million tons, approximately 7 times. The rice production increased from 35 million tons to 89.5 million tons. So this is the implementation of result of green revolution in our country. So with the implementation of green revolution in our country, the father of green revolution of India is M.S. Swaminathan. So, agricultural accounts for approximately 33% of India's GDP and employs nearly 62% of the population. So, in a wheat, in our country, increased 11 million tons to 75 million tons, and rice increased from 35 million tons to 89.5 million tons. Nobel laureate Norman E. Borlaug, so father of green revolution of the world, International Center for Wheat and Maize Improvement, Mexico, developed a semi-dwarf wheat. In 1963, high-yielding and disease-resistant wheat varieties like Sonalika and Kalyan Sona were introduced in India. So, M.S. Swaminathan, treated as a father of green revolution in India, Norman Borlaug, father of green revolution of the world. Semi-dwarf rice varieties were derived from IR8, developed at the International Rice Research Institute, simply called as IRRI, located in Philippines, and Taichung Native 1 from Taiwan. Later, better yielding semi-dwarf varieties Jaya and Ratna were developed in India. Actually, rice wild variety lifespan is 6 months, whereas nowadays the farmers cultivating rice varieties lifespan is only 3 months. That means a 90 days crop. That varieties are developed by plant breeding techniques. So, semi-dwarf rice varieties were derived from IR8, developed at International Rice Research Institute IRRI, located in Philippines. Whereas, and Taichung Native 1 from Taiwan. In our country, one rice research institute is located, Indian Rice Research Institute, that is in Cuttack, Orissa. Whereas IRRI, it is the International Rice Research Institute located in Philippines. In sugarcane, some of the high-yielding varieties are developed. So, sugarcane research institute is located in Coimbatore, in our country. Sugarcane scientific name Saccharum officinarum. Saccharum barbari is another species. Saccharum barbari grown in North India but poor sugar content and yield was crossed with Saccharum officinarum, tropical canes in South India, thicker stems and higher sugar content but do not grow well in North India, and got hybrid sugar cane having desirable qualities like high yield, thick stems, high sugar, and ability to grow in North India. So, by the crossing of these two species, high yielding variety is developed in sugarcane research institute. Millets. With the plant breeding techniques, in millets, high yielding varieties are developed by plant breeders. Hybrid maize, jowar, bajra have been developed in India. It includes high yielding varieties resistant to water stress and resistant to diseases also. So in this lesson, the most important expected essay question is, for IPE point of view, you are a botanist working in the area of plant breeding. Describe the various steps that you will undertake to release a new variety. The question uh, usually coming in IP examinations as a essay question. So, for this question to score 8 out of 8, so the following points you have to write in examination. You see. So, to answer this question, these are the points you have to cover in examination. Plant breeding is the purposeful manipulation of plant species in order to create desired plant types that are better suited for cultivation, give better yields, and are disease resistant. Classical plant breeding involves crossing or hybridization of pure lines followed by artificial selection to produce plants with desirable traits of higher yield, nutrition, and resistant to diseases. Plant breeding programs are carried out in a systematic way. The main steps in breeding a new genetic variety of crop are: number one, collection of variability, evaluation and selection of parents, cross hybridization among the selected parents, selection and testing of superior recombinants, and testing, release, and commercialization of new cultivars. Number one, collection of variability. Genetic variability is the root of any breeding program. In many crops, pre-existing genetic variability is available from wild relatives of the crop. Collection and preservation of all the different wild varieties, species and relatives of the cultivated species, and evaluating them for their characteristics is a prerequisite for effective exploitation of natural genes available in the populations. The entire collection of plant seeds having all the diverse alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. Evaluation and selection of parents. This is second step. The germplasm is evaluated so as to identify plants with a desirable combination of characters. The selected plants are multiplied and used in the process of hybridization. Pure lines are created wherever desirable and possible. Cross hybridization among the selected parents, the desired characters have very often to be combined from two different plants, that means parents. For example, high protein quality of one parent may be need to be combined with a disease resistant from another parent. This is possible by cross hybridizing the two parents to produce hybrids that genetically combine the desired characters in one plant. This is a very time consuming and a tedious process, since the pollen grains from the desirable plant chosen as a male parent have to be collected and placed on the stigma of the flowers selected as female. Parent also, it is not necessary that the hybrids do combine the desirable characters. Usually only one in few hundred to a thousand crosses shows the desirable combination. selection and testing of superior recombinants. This step consists of selecting among the progeny of hybrids those plants that have the desired characters combination. The selection process is crucial to the success of the breeding objective and requires careful scientific evaluation of the progeny. This step yields plants that are superior to both of parents. Very often, more than one superior progeny plant may become available. These are self pollinated for several generations till they reach a state of uniformity, homozygosity, so that the characters will not segregate in the progeny. Testing, release and commercialization of a new cultivars. The newly selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistance, etc. This evaluation is done by growing these in the research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. The cultivation in research fields is followed by testing the materials in farmers' fields for at least 3 growing seasons at several locations in the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones where the crop is usually grown. The materials is evaluated in comparison to the best available local crop cultivar, a check for reference cultivar. After evaluation, the variety can be released for the farmers. So, examination point of view, in this question, you have to write these points. So, this is the essay question. You are botanist working in the area of plant breeding. Describe the various steps that you will undertake to release a variety. So, to answer this question, you have to write these points. This one and this one, this one, this one. So, these are the points you have to write to score full marks in IP examination. So the following animation you see so that you can easily understand the process of hybridization. So thank you.
Plant breeding. Plants are the most important organisms on this planet. They occupy the bottommost part of the food chain. They are often referred to as producers, and all other organisms are directly or indirectly dependent on plants. Almost 85% of the world's food consumed by humans is plant-based. The plants grown for food are called food crops. Food crops are highly dependent on water availability, soil, and climatic conditions. Sometimes, due to environmental conditions like drought, the crops do not produce sufficient food or the crops fail. This leads to acute shortage of food in that region. It is called as famine. In the year 1943, the Great Bengal famine is estimated to have caused the deaths of up to 4 million people. Also, as the population increases, food production must also increase. And if the food production does not increase, it will cause food crisis. As the land for agriculture is very limited, it is necessary to improve the productivity of the crops per acre. Previously, we have learnt that by implementing animal breeding, we were able to improve the quality and productivity of farm animals. Similarly, by plant breeding, it is also possible to improve the quality and productivity of the food crops. Plant breeding is defined as science of changing the genetic traits of plants in order to create desired plant types that are better suited for cultivation, gives better yields, and have good resistance to diseases. Plant breeding is not a new technology. It is a very old one. Earlier, man used to deliberately crossbreed closely related plant varieties to produce a new plant of desired trait. Nowadays, breeders try to incorporate the following desirable traits in an improved variety: increased crop yield, improved quality, increased tolerance to environmental stresses like salinity, extreme temperatures, drought, and frost, increased resistance to pathogens, increased tolerance to insect pests. This process of breeding closely related individuals that are genetically different to produce a hybrid offspring is known as hybridization. Scientists Gregor Mendel and Charles Darwin effectively demonstrated hybridization within a plant species. After that, the process was further developed by many plant breeders. Plant breeding is a systematic process. The entire process of plant breeding, starting from choosing desirable qualities of plant to the final product, is broadly divided into 5 main steps. Let us learn about them one by one. Step 1. Collection of variability. We know that plant of particular species will have different varieties on different parts of the planet. Each variety will have few different sets of traits that are different from each other. This is known as genetic variation. For example, ragi. There are about total 121 natural variants of ragi on this planet. Every one of them is different from each other by few traits. Some show disease resistance to particular bug and show drought resistance. Some give high yield and no resistance to drought. Some give less yield and show drought resistance, etc. All these are desirable characters. So to create a new variety of ragi with better characteristics, it would be better if one knows all the natural varieties of ragi available on this planet. From that, it would be easy to select the best required traits for the new plant. From the year 1971, under the guidance of International Board of Plant Genetic Resources, IBPGR, several institutes have started collecting all the naturally available plants and seeds, having all diverse alleles for all genes in a given crop, from different geographic locations on this planet, and made a library out of it. This library is called as germplasm collection. This forms a resource from which new varieties are created. Currently, most of the crops have germplasm with more than 100 varieties. Due to availability of vast germplasm, any breeder can now easily manipulate different combination of alleles in order to create a superior plant. There are 2 germplasm collection centers in India. These are International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, at Hyderabad, and National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, NBPGR, at New Delhi. Step 2. Evaluation and selection of parents. When varieties were first collected, it was completely based on easily distinguishable characters. However, plants' variations are due to the environmental conditions present at that time, which is temporary. For example, suppose researchers collected a dwarf plant from drought region and named it as dwarf plant. But when this variety was cultivated under normal environmental conditions, the plant grew tall. It means that the dwarfness was not actually the trait of the plant. It was just a result of environmental conditions. In order to avoid such type of errors, careful evaluation and characterization is required to know about the composition of the germplasm and the diversity of the given crop. Let us learn how the plants are evaluated and characterized. Before the plants are evaluated, the plants are tested for pureness. If a plant has more than one type of allele for a particular trait, it is called heterozygous. Such plants are rejected, and only pure plants or homozygous plants are subjected to further evaluation. Now, let's learn about plant evaluation. First, all the samples are grown in the field under controlled environmental conditions with good protection. Then, it is made sure that the plants completely adapt to the place they are grown. This ensures that all their traits are completely expressed. Once they are adapted, the plants are tested under various stressful conditions such as pathogens, salinity, drought, etc. All the responses are recorded. Apart from this, the plants are also tested in laboratory for different molecular and biochemical characteristics. Once all the enzymes and the biochemicals produced are known, the information is neatly recorded and labeled on the plant. Using this wide range of information, scientists can easily select plants for breeding. The selected plants are later inbred or self-pollinated to obtain pure copies of the homozygous parents. Cross-hybridization among the selected parents. Now, since we have selected pure line parents with desired characteristics, the parents are now cross-hybridized. Cross-hybridization helps to produce hybrid progeny. This helps to bring desired traits from different plant lines into one plant line. For example, if we cross a low-yielding, high disease-resistant ragi plant with high-yielding, low disease-resistance ragi plant, since the parents that are crossed are pure line, the F1 hybrid obtained will have superior characters of both the parents. The progeny here will be high-yielding and high disease-resistant ragi plant. This tendency of hybrids to obtain superior characteristics of both parents is known as heterosis or hybrid vigor. The term was coined by Schull in 1912. However, heterosis was first studied by Carl Reuter in 1763, followed by Darwin in 1876. Let us understand how cross-hybridization is done by breeders. It is done by a process called artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization is the production of hybrids by cross-pollinating two separate plants under controlled conditions under the supervision of the plant breeder. This process of artificial hybridization in plants involves various steps. These are as follows. Selection of parents with desired characters. Care is taken while selecting parents for hybridization program. All the desired characters should be present in parents which are required in the new crop variety. Emasculation. Anthers or male parts of the flowers are removed. Now flower contains only female parts. This is done to prevent self-pollination among flowers. Bagging and tagging. Soon after emasculation, the carpels are covered polythene bags to prevent contamination of stigma by foreign pollen. Collection of pollen grains. At maturity, the pollen grains are collected from desired parent plant in dry plastic bags. Artificial pollination. When the stigma of the emasculated flower matures, the polythene bag is removed, and with the help of a brush, fresh pollen from selected plants is dusted over the receptive stigma of the female. Tagging. A tag is with relevant information attached to the plant. The tag bears the information like date of emasculation, date of crossing, and detail of male and female parents, etc. Desirable combination of variations. Seeds obtained after crossing are sown and evaluated for desirable and undesirable traits and are screened properly. Back crossing. If desired traits are absent in the progeny, then they are back crossed again till the desired traits are obtained. Limitations. Cross hybridization is a very time consuming and tedious process. The cross hybrids may not combine the desirable characters. Usually, only 1 in few hundred to 1,000 crosses show the desirable combination. Step 4. Selection and testing of superior recombinants. The hybrid obtained is scientifically checked for desired characters. If the test is passed, the plants are self-pollinated for several generations. Since the F1 hybrid has both dominant as well as recessive alleles, at every next generation, we will get wide variety of combinations. Some will be desirable and some will be undesirable. At each generation, the undesirable plants are eliminated, and the process is continued for 7 to 8 generations until uniformity or homozygosity is obtained. This will create a pure line where characters do not segregate. This pure line is called as cultivar. Cultivar is plant with desirable characters that can be maintained by propagation. To evaluate these cultivars, the cultivars are grown in research fields and their performance is recorded under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. In India, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, ICAR at New Delhi, carries out these evaluations. After evaluations, the plants are again tested in farmers' fields for at least 3 growing seasons. The testing is done at several locations throughout the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones where these crops are usually grown. Using the test results, the cultivars are evaluated by comparing it with the best available local crop cultivars in the farms. If the new cultivar is far better than the existing cultivar, it is selected for seed multiplication. Step 5. Multiplication of improved seed. The seeds of the approved cultivars are multiplied by growing them in suitable conditions. A large quantity of seeds is obtained. The seed are then tested for quality and certified by National Seed Corporation, NSC. Such tested seeds are called as certified seeds. Now the seeds can be distributed to farmers and licensed seed sellers.
morning to everybody. Today we would like to work out some more problems on non-profit organization. Today I would like to work out some problems on non-profit organization. This is the receipts and payments account of Sri Hari Sports Club. Sri Hari Sports Club receipts and payments account for the year 2014, 31st December 2014. These are the sources of receipts. These are the sources of payments. Sources of receipts: cash in hand 500, cash at bank 2000, subscription 6750, tournament fund 2500, live membership fund 2000, entry fee 250, donations for computer 3500, sale of gross 200. Here payments: salary for gardeners 1000, gross cutting mission 1000, rent 2000, games expenditure 950, tournament expenses 3000, insurance 1000, games equipment 2250, balance carried down, cash in hand 750, cash at bank 5250. Gross grand total debit side 17,700, 17,700. Sum of additional information in the form of adjustments: subscriptions receivable for 2013 1000 and 2014 1050. For the year 2015 400. There are three adjustments regarding to subscriptions. One is prepaid subscriptions, outstanding subscriptions, then receivable subscriptions. Second, games equipment beginning 1000 and end 1250. Provide depreciation on 10% on gross cutting machinery. Prepare income and expenditure account for the year 2014. This is a receipts and payments account of Sri Hari Sports Club 31st December 2014. So we are requested to prepare income and expenditure account for the year 31st December 2014. So income and expenditure account, income and expenditure account, for the year ended, for the year 2014, for the year 2014, for the year 2014. Debit side and the credit side. Debit side, expenditure, expenses, or expenses, amount, RS, amount. Credit side, income, amount. RS. So this is the format of income and expenditure account. So while preparing income and expenditure account from receipts and payments account, we must consider all factors in the form of adjustments must be taken into consideration. First of all, we must record expenses. Expenses means payments. So expenses to salary for garden. Debit side, to salaries. It is a nominal account. All expenses must be debited. All incomes must be credited. So income and expenditure account is a nominal account. All expenses must be debited. all incomes must be recorded credit side of income and expenditure account. To salaries, to salary. To salary for gardener. Salary for gardener 1000. Here no adjustment regarding the salary. No adjustment regarding to salary. Next, bike or gross cutting machinery. It is a capital expenditure. It is not recorded in income and expenditure account. Then rent. To rent. To rent. 2000. To rent 2000. Next, gains expenditure. Gains expenditure 950. To gains expenditure 950. Next, tournament expenses. Tournament expenses are not taken into consideration. Tournament expenses are recorded in the balance sheet of the non-profit organization. Then insurance. To insurance. To insurance. No adjustments regarding the insurance. Insurance 1000. Insurance 1000. Next, incomes. Subscriptions. Buy subscriptions. Buy subscriptions. Buy subscriptions. 6,750. 6,750 in which minus 2013. Minus 2013. 1000 minus 2013. 1000 minus 5,750. 5,750 plus receivable for 14. Receivable for the year 2014. 1050. 1050. $7,800 minus for the year 2015. For the year 2015, 400. Outer column 7,400 rupees only. 7,400 rupees only. Next, to tournament fund. Here it is a capital expenditure. It is not recorded in income and expenditure account. Similarly, life membership fee. It is also capital expenditure. It is not recorded in income and expenditure account. Then next, entry fee. Entry fee. By entry fee. Entry fee. By entry fee 250. 250. Next, donations from computer. It is also specific donations. Specific donations are not recorded in income and expenditure account. Specific donations are recorded in the balance sheet of the non-profit organization. Next, sale of gross. By sale of gross. By sale of gross. By sale of gross 200. 200. Then here adjustments are there. Games expense. Games equipment one beginning 1000 and ending 1250. So here opening balance of sports equipment 1000. Opening balance opening balance. Then purchased games equipment purchased 2250 plus purchased 2,250. Total value of games games equipment 3,250. Whereas an adjustment says end. So the value of the games equipment end of the year only 1,250 minus closing balance 1,250. That means depreciation 2,000 on sports equipment. Depreciation 2,000 on sports equipment. So it must be recorded debit side to the income and expenditure account. To depreciation on sports equipment. Depreciation on sports equipment. Depreciation on sports equipment 2,000 only. Next, another adjustment is there. Provide depreciation at 10% on gross cutting machinery. Cost of gross cutting machine 1,000, 10% depreciation 100. To depreciation on gross cutting machinery gross cutting machinery 100. These are the various expenditures, sources of so here debit balance 7,050. Here debit balance is more than credit balance, so it will carry forwarded to credit side 7,050. So debit balance 7,050, whereas credit balance subscriptions 7,650 minus 2014 1,000 5,750 plus receivable for the 2014 1,050, total 6,800 minus received in advance for the 2015 400, total 6,400. So here debit total rupees 7,050, whereas credit total 6,850. 6,850. Deficit here, debit balance is more than credit balance. So by excess of expenditure, over income 200 only. So debit balance 7,050, credit balance 6,850. So net loss, net deficit or excess of expenditure over income rupees 200 only. This is the income and expenditure of Sri Hari Sports Club. One more problem regarding to non-profit organization. This is from the following receipts and payments account of Amaravati Sports Club for the year 31st December 2008. So Amaravati Sports Club receipts and payments accounts is like this. Debit side, to balance brought down 300, to entry fee 550, to subscriptions 2007 200, 2008 16,900, 2009 300, to lockers rent 500, to special subscriptions for the government body 3,450. This is the receipts of Amaravati Sports Club. Similarly, payments by rent 5,200, By stationery expenses 3068, by wages 5330, 30. Next, billiards table 3900, by repairs 806, by interest 1500, by balance carried out 2396. Sum of adjustments is there. Lockers rent. Lockers rent. There are two adjustments. Adjustment regarding 2017 and 2008. Similarly, rent. Similarly, rent. Lockers rent. Adjustment related 2007 and 2008. Similarly, stationery expenses. Stationery expenses is two adjustments related to 2007 and 2008. Then subscriptions receivable for the year. Subscriptions receivable for the year 2008 is 468. This is the receipts and payments account of Amaravati Sports Club for the year 31st December 2008. So now we would like to design income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st December 2008. So income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure. Income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st December 2008. Income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st December 2008. This is the income and expenditure account. Debit side expenditure amount, credit side incomes amount. Debit side expenditure expenses amount. Similarly, credit side income amount. So first of all, we must record expenses. Expenses in receipts and payments accounts, credit side is there. So first of all expenses must be recorded debit side of the income and expenditure account. It's shown credit side in the receipts and payments account. So by rent here, to rent 5,200. Two adjustments are there. Rents related to 2007 1,300 and still due is 1,300. So rent 5,200 minus for the last year. That means for the year 2017. Rent related to 2017 is 1,300. 3,900 plus receivable rent plus receivable for 2008 1,300 again 1,300 total amount 5,200. Next, stationery expenses. To stationery, it is also two adjustments. Two stationary expenses 3068 minus for 2007 stationary expenses 312 related to 2007 minus 312 6 5 7 2756 plus receivable for the year 2008 364 outer column 10 12 11 3 3120 is the stationary expenditure. Then wages, two wages 5330 billiards table is a capital expenditure. It is not recorded in debit side of income and expenditure account. Next, repairs, two repairs 806. Next, interest, two payment of interest 1500. This is the expenses, nature of expenses, sources of expenses for the year 2008. Similarly, incomes, these are the sources of incomes. To entry fee, by entry fee 550. Next, subscriptions 2008, by subscriptions 2008 16,900 plus receivable, subscriptions receivable for the 2008 468 plus receivable 468 8 6 13 7 1 7,368 subscriptions. Next, lockers rent adjustments is there. By lockers rent, by lockers rent 500. Lockers rent, two adjustments 60 for 2007 and 90 receivable minus for 2007 60, that means 440 plus receivable for 2008 Total 530 rupees. 530 rupees. Next, special subscriptions to government body by special subscriptions to government body. Special subscription to government body. Special subscriptions to government body 3,450. 3,450. 3,450. These are the expenses and the income of non-profit organization. Expenses and the income of non-profit organization. So, expenses, debit side 520, 5,200. Credit side 5,200, 3,120, 5,330, 806, 5,1,500. So, total 21,900, 21,800, 21,800, 898, 21,898, 98. So carry forward debit side. Carry forward debit side 21,898. So here credit balance 21,898. Debit balance 6, 5, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 2, 7, 10, 15, 15. Debit balance 15,956. Debit balance 15,000. Credit balance 21,898. Debit balance 15,956. 15,956. So surplus to excess of income. Excess of income over expenditure to 4, 9, 5,942. 5,942 excess of income over expenditure. So this is the income and expenditure account of Amaravati Sports Club for the year ended 31st December 2008. So total credit balance is 21,898. Total debit balance 15,956. Surplus excess of income over expenditure rupees 5,942. 5,942. One more problem regarding the non-profit organization. From the following receipts and payments accounts of Netaji Sports Club for the year ended 31st March 2012. Netaji Sports Club for the year ended 31st March 2012. So these are the receipts of non-profit organization, debit side. To balance brought down 01 1st April 2011 23,000. 2 subscriptions 13,000. 2 interest 1,000. To sale of furniture. To sale of furniture 1,600. Book value 2,000. Entry fee 8,000. These are the receipts of non-profit organizations. Next, payments. Buy salary 16,000. Buy rent 3,000. Buy stationery 1,000. Buy sports material purchase 12,000. Buy balance 31st 3 2012 14,600. Additional information. Subscriptions included 1,000 related to last year. Rent included 600 paid for last year. These are the two adjustments. One adjustment regarding to subscriptions, another adjustment regarding to rent. So only two adjustments are there. Now you would like to design income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st 3 2012. So income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st 3 2012. 31st 3 2012. Credit side, debit side, expenditure amount. Similarly, credit side, income amount. So first of all, we must record expenses. So expenses are residing in receipts and payments account. These are the expenses. Two salaries. Two salaries. 16,000. Next rent. Two rent. Adjustment is there. Two rent. Rent 3,000 minus last year. Rent includes 600 paid for last year. Minus last year 600. Outer column 2,400. Outer column 2,400. Next, stationery. Two stationery 1,000. No adjustment. 1,000. Next, sports material purchase, it is capital expenditure. It is recorded in balance sheet of the non-profit organization. Then sale of old furniture 1,600, book value 2,000. So here loss 400. To loss on sale of furniture. To loss on sale of furniture. Loss on sale of furniture 400 only. These are the expenses and losses of non-profit organizations for the year ended 31st 3 2012 of Netaji Sports Club. Here, incomes by subscriptions. By subscriptions 13,000, in which minus loss last year 1000, outer column 12,000 only. Then interest, by interest, by interest, by interest, by interest 1000. Next, entry fee, by entry fee, by entry fee 8,000, by entry fee 8,000. These are the income of non-profit organization for the year 31st 3 2011. So debit side salary is 16,000, to rent 2,400, then to stationery 1,000, to loss on sale of furniture rupees 400, loss on sale of furniture rupees 400, grand total 21,000, grand total, credit side 21,000, carry forward to credit side 21,000. Here credit balance 21,000, debit balance 16, 17, 18, 19, 19,800, 19,800. Excess of income over expenditure 1,200, to excess of income over expenditure 1,200 only, 1,200 only. Once again, expenses, to salary 16,000, to rent 3,000, minus last year 600, 2,400, to stationery 1,000, to loss on sale of furniture 400. Next income, by subscriptions 1,300, minus last year 1,000, 12,000, by interest 1,000, by entry fee 8,000. Total credit balance 21,000, carry forwarded to debit side 21,000. Debit balance 19,800. Net profit or excess of income over expenditure 1,200 only. This is the income and expenditure account of non-profit organization of Netaji Sports Club. Good morning to everybody. Today also we would like to work out some more problems on non-profit organization. Some more problems on non-profit organization. This is the problem of non-profit organization. From the following receipts and payments accounts of Guntur Sports Club for the year ended 31st-3-2018. This is the receipts and payments accounts of Guntur Sports Club for the year ended 31st March 2018. These are the left side sources of receipts, right side sources of the credit side sources of the payments. So receipts, 2 balance brought down 14,000, 2 subscriptions included 1,000 for the last year 18,000, 2 legacies 2,000, 2 live membership fee 5,000, 2 sale of tickets 500, 2 lockers rent 1,500, 2 entry fee 1,000, 2 interest on investments 200. Payments: buy salaries 1,400, buy repairs 600, buy purchase of sports equipment 2,000, buy furniture 8,000, buy honorarium paid 5,000, buy books 2,000, buy investment 10,000, buy office expenses 1,200, buy balance carried on 12,000. Adjustments: outstanding salaries 600, opening value of sports equipment 1,000 and closing value 500. Interest accrued interest on investment 200. Subscriptions receivable for the year 2018 3,000. So these are the adjustment. First adjustment: outstanding salary is a salaries adjustment is there. Next one: opening values of sports equipment. Sports equipment 2,000 purchased. Opening balance is there, closing balance is there. Next, interest on investment. Interest on investments already 200 receivable 200. Next, subscriptions for the year 2018 3,000. Subscriptions, one adjustment is there. So, first of all, we must identify capital nature of expenditure, capital nature of income. So, such capital nature of expenditure and income not recorded in income and expenditure account. Capital nature of income and expenditure have been recorded in the balance sheet of non-profit organization. First of all, in receipt side, legacy is a capital nature, capital expenditure, capital income. It is a capital income. Legacy is a amount received by non-profit organization from deceased person according to his will on our agreement. So legacy is a not revenue income. It is a capital income. So all legacies must be recorded balance sheet of the non-profit organization, not on the income and expenditure account. Next one, life membership. Life membership also it is a not revenue income, it is a capital income. So, life membership income is not recorded in income and expenditure of non-profit organization. Next, this is the capital income. Next, capital payments. Purchase of sports material. Purchase of sports material, it is a capital expenditure. It is not recorded in income and expenditure account. Why? Is there any depreciation on sports equipment? That must be recorded debit side of income and expenditure account. Next, furniture. It is also capital expenditure. So, non-profit organization acquiring some kind of furniture to run the business. That's why payment to furniture is not a revenue, payment. It is a capital payment. So capital payments are not recorded in income and expenditure account. It is recorded only in the balance sheet. Then honorarium paid. Books also capital expenditure. Not recorded in income and expenditure account. It is recorded on the balance sheet. Similarly, investments also capital expenditure. Not recorded in income and expenditure account. Investments have been recorded in the balance sheet of the non-profit organization. So these are the receipts and payments accounts of Guntur Sports Club for the year ended 31st March 2018. These are the sources of receipt, sources of payment. These are the adjustment from which we must design income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st 3 2018. So income and expenditure account, income and expenditure account, income and expenditure account for the year ended, for the year ended 31st 3 2018. 31st 3 2018. This is the debit side and credit side. Debit side DR, credit side CR. Debit side expenditure. Amount. Similarly, credit side income. Amount. So, expenditure, all expenditure must be recorded. Only revenue expenditure, not capital expenditure. Only revenue expenditure must be recorded debit side of income and expenditure account. Only revenue income has been recorded credit side of income and expenditure account. So, expenditure, only revenue expenditure has been recorded debit side of non-profit organizations. So, expenditure or losses, any losses, expenses must be recorded debit side of income and expenditure account. Why? Because it is a nominal account. Income and expenditure account is a nominal account, so that all expenses and losses must be recorded debit side, all income and the profits recorded credit side. Here, first of all, we must record expenses. Expenses are credit side in receipts and payments accounts. By salaries. To salary, it is a revenue expenditure. To salaries, 1,400. Adjustment is there. Adjustment is outstanding plus outstanding for the year 2018 amount 600. Outer column salaries value 2,000 rupees 2,000. Then repairs, two repairs 600. Next, purchase of sports equipment. Purchase of sports equipment, it is a capital expenditure not recorded in debit side of income and expenditure account. It is only recorded in the balance sheet. Meanwhile, if there is depreciation on sports equipment, the depreciation must be recorded debit side of income and expenditure account. Similarly, furniture also is also capital expenditure. Next, now honorarium paid, to honorarium. To honorarium paid 5,000. Next, books. It is also capital expenditure not recorded in income and expenditure account. Similarly, investments also not recorded by officer. Two office expenses. Two office expenses. 1,200. Next, sport regarding to sports. Sports equipment opening balance 1,000. Opening balance 1,000 plus purchased sports equipment purchase 2,000. Total value of sports equipment 3,000 according to book value. But closing value rupees only 500 only. Only 500 closing value. Closing value only 500. Rest of 2,500 is treated as a depreciation on sports equipment. So, to depreciation on sports equipment. Sports equipment. Depreciation on sports equipment 2,500. It is only depreciation. Depreciation on sports equipment. Next, incomes. Incomes for first one, subscriptions. By subscriptions. By subscriptions 18,000 minus included last year minus for 2017 1,000 17,000 plus receivable for 2018 3,000 rupees. Total subscriptions outer column 20,000. Next, legacies. It is a capital income. Capital income is not recorded. Similarly, life membership also. It is a capital income. It is not recorded in income and expenditure account. They are recorded only in the balance sheet of the non-profit organizations. Next, sale of tickets. By sale of tickets. By sale of tickets 500. Next, lockers rent. By lockers rent 1,500. Next, entry fee. By entry fee 1,000. By entry fee 1,000. Next, interest on investments 200. By adjustment is there. By interest on investments. Interest on investments 200 plus accrued interest on investments plus accrued or receivable interest. Receivable or accrued interest 200. Total interest 400, in which 200 already received. 200 will be receivable. 200 rupees must be receivable. It is source of income to the non-profit organization. So these are the income of sources of income to the non-profit organization. These are the sources of expenditure to the non-profit organization. So once again, two salaries 14,400 plus outstanding 600, total 2,000, two repairs 600, two honorarium paid 5,000, two office expenses 1,200, two depreciation of sports equipment 2,500. 2,500 means opening balance of sports equipment 1,000 plus purchases, sports equipment purchases, sports equipment purchase 2,000, 1,000 plus 2,000 minus 500 closing balance. So outer column 2,500, depreciation on sports equipment 2,500. Similarly, incomes by subscription 18,000 minus last year 1,000, 17,000 plus receivable for the current year, that is 2018 3,000. Outer column total 20,000. Sale of tickets 500, law percent 1,500, entry fee 1,000, interest on investments 200 plus receivable interest 200, total 400. Total 400. These are the sources of expenditure, sources of income. Next, we can find out profit or deficit 20, 21, 20. Credit balance 23,400. Credit balance 23,400. Carry forward to debit side. Carry forward to debit side. 23,400. 23,400. So credit balance 23,400. Debit balance 11,300 debit balance, 23,400 credit balance, 11,300 is debit balance. So surplus of income is 12,100 to excess of income over expenditure excess of income over expenditure 12,100 excess of income over expenditure 12,100. This is the income and expenditure of non-profit organization of Guntur Sports Club for the year ended 31st March 2018. Today we would like to work out one more problem regarding the non-profit organization. So Nellore Sports Club started 1/1/2019. Receipts and payments account for the year 31st December 2019 is as follows. Receipts, donations 50,000, entry fee 4,000, entry fee 4,000, tournament fund 10,000. These are the capital receipts. Revenue receipts, subscriptions 3,200, included 100 for the received in advance for the year 2020. Next, rent 100, other receipts 700, cricket fees 400. Payments, nature of payments, sources of payments. Buy buildings 40,000, buy tournament expenses 900, buy furniture 2,100, buy investments 18,000. Next, revenue payments. Salaries 1,800, cricket expenses 1,140, buy insurance 360, by government expenses 600. These are the revenue payments, these are the revenue receipts. So in this problem, already expenses and incomes, nature of income, nature of expenses have been separated. These are the capital receipts. These are the revenue receipts. These are the capital payments. These are the revenue payments. So donations already capitalized. Entry fee ought to be capitalized. Already entry fee is to be capitalized. Tournament funding, it is also capital receipts. Donations, entry fee, tournament funds are capital receipts not recorded in income and expenditure account. So donations, entry fee, tournament expenses are shown in the balance sheet of the non-profit organizations. Similarly, capital payments, buildings 40,000, tournament expenses 900, furniture 2,100, investments 80,000. So here, capital payments, building, it is asset, acquiring asset, not recorded in income and expenditure account. Similarly, tournament expenses are deducted from tournament fund. So tournament expenses are deducted from tournament fund in the balance sheet, not recorded in the debit side of the income and expenditure account. Next, furniture, acquisition of fixed assets also not recorded. Investments also, capital payments not recorded in income and expenditure account. Only revenue payments, revenue receipts are recorded in income and expenditure account of the non-profit organizations. Adjustments, subscriptions, one adjustment is there. Next, unpaid salaries, adjustment is there. Next, entry fee is to be capitalized. Already, entry fees has been shown in the capital receipt side. Next, insurance include 9 months premium for 2020. Only 3 months premium is for 2019. So, insurance, it is an adjustment. So, from the following particulars of receipts and payments account, we must prepare income and expenditure account of Nellore Sports Club for the year ended 31st December 2019. So, income and expenditure account of Nellore Sports Club for the year ended, income and expenditure. Income and expenditure account income and expenditure account for the year ended, for the year ended 31st December 2019. 31st December 2019. 31st December 2019. Debit side. Expenditure, debit side DR, expenditure amount, expenditure amount, income amount, ఇప్పుడు expenses or revenue expenses are credit side of receipts and payments accounts. Building, government expenses, furniture, investments or capital expenditure, capital payments not recorded in income and expenditure account. Only revenue payments have been taken into consideration. So first of all, in revenue payments, first item is salaries. 2 salaries. 1,800 plus outstanding unpaid salaries. Unpaid salaries 170 plus unpaid salaries 170. 1,970 rupees. Next, cricket expenses. 2 cricket expenses. 2 cricket expenses. 1,140. Next, insurance. Buy insurance here. 2 insurance. 360 minus prepaid for 9 months. Prepaid for 9 months. 360 multiplied 9 by 12. ₹270 paid in advance. So 270 rupees premium related to next year 2020. Only is related to current year. 90 rupees, only 90 rupees related to current year. Rest of 2,070 related to next year. So it must be deductible. Prepaid insurance 270, 360 minus 270 is equal to 90 rupees only. 90 rupees. Next, garden expenses. 2 garden expenses. Garden expenses. Garden expenses 600. Next, incomes. Buy subscriptions. Buy subscriptions. 3,200 minus last year minus next year 100. 3,100. Next, subscription receivable for 2019 plus receivable plus receivable 300. 3,400. Next, rent. Buy rent 100. Buy other receipts. Buy other receipts 700. Next, buy cricket fees. Buy cricket fee 400. These are the incomes. So credit side balance. $4,600 credit balance. 4,600 credit balance. 511, 5, 12, 16. Carry forward the debit side. 4,600. So here credit balance 4,600, debit balance DR balance 20, 22, 28. So debit balance 3,800, credit balance 4,600, debit balance 3,800. 800 surplus. To excess of income. To excess of income. Excess of income over expenditure. Excess of income over expenditure. 800 only. 800 only.